Good morning. Not every day is a cycling and scuba diving day. Some days you're at home. Today I'm at home and I just wanted to show you something kind of quickly. We don't really do much shell collecting anymore because now that we know when we pull the shells out of the environment we might be depriving someone of a home, or the material decomposing and making more sand and making more places for animals to live. But these are some sea biscuits I had collected back in, oh gosh, probably the 80s and the 90s, and I just want to make sure and preserve them. Some of them were a little bit discolored from sitting around, and so I had put them in a very weak solution of water and bleach, which is not great for the environment, but I still own some bleach, and one of them crumbled, and it was like a cookie in milk. It absolutely crumbled, and it was this one. So I am working on, I've got it put together with rubber bands, trying to get it back together. Worst case, I might have to take some super thin tissue and put it over the brakes and then glue over the brakes. But the method that I'm using is one that I learned way back diving, doing some archaeological diving, when I first got certified diving, and it's just basically half and half water and glue. I'm using good old Elmer's glue, and you see I buy it in really large amounts because I use a lot of it for different things. And just a half and half water and glue, and brush it on and let it sit. The really amazing thing is I already have 2 coats on here and you can't even tell. Because you're watering it down, it doesn't get that super plasticky look. If you don't water it down, you will get kind of a plasticky look. It'll look sort of like saran wrap that kind of peels off. But when you do a half and half solution, it just soaks in and preserves your items, makes them a little bit stronger so that they're not falling apart. Also makes it a little bit easier to dust them because it's more of a slightly more flat surface, and it keeps them from getting stained by things. We have a lot of spiders here on the river, and sometimes you don't notice, and a spider will leave little dots on things. So that's it wet. I don't know if you can see a little bit of shine, and then once it dries, it'll look like that. You won't be able to tell at all. And I do have these on cookie racks because I don't want them to stick, like put them on cardboard or something. I don't want them to stick, and I need them to drip a little bit sometimes. If I get a little bit, go overboard with the solution, but it's just half glue, half water, big soft brush. Alright, so usually do the bottom first. You can start to see everything glistening. Then I flip it over, do the top, and I'm fully supporting with all my fingers, really supporting, because like I said, these will crumble like a cookie in milk. So pretty thick just until it shines a bit. And then these are not on the stove because I'm using the stove or anything. It just happened to be a place where there's glass, and it's really easy for me to clean up the glue. What you doing, Jasper? Oh, bless you. Coming across? For the question of how much time these take to dry, it kind of depends on how much you have put on them, and I tend to, whatever amount I've mixed up in my little pot, I just try and go ahead and use it. And I put it on pretty thick, but I watch and make sure it's still being absorbed by the item. If there's a lot sitting on the surface, I'll pull it back off. But as long as it's being absorbed and it's still drinking in the mixture, then I keep giving it to it. Like now, I've got a little bit left over and I don't want to waste it, so I'll start back at the beginning, and this time I'll just do just a super light coat on top. I don't even want to pick this one up that fell apart because it's just not knitting together like I want it to, but it will. It will. So now I'm just doing another coat on top, and as long as it's thirsty and drinking it in, then I'll keep feeding it a little bit. Now, as far as how long to dry, oh my goodness, this is going to take more than 24 hours to dry because I have saturated them top and bottom. And I'll just let them dry in a basket, or they can dry here. You kind of have to watch out where they're drying here on the stove. It's in the middle of the kitchen, and they could get damaged by people inadvertently dropping things on them. So I'll have to move them before any activity goes on in here, because they are precious to me, and they are so delicate. So I'm just doing a second coat on top, and because they're sitting like this, it can just soak in and give them a little bit of added strength. The whole idea is to give them enough strength that when you pick them up to look at them or dust them, they don't fall apart in your hands. And these are a perfect candidate for this technique because they are porous and they do soak it up. And I've got a couple sand dollars here. These are so delicate, they crumble so easily. So I'm doing these as well. I don't pick sand dollars up anymore because I now know that when they decompose, they put materials back into the environment which other things need to live. So I don't even pick up shells or sand dollars or anything like that anymore. I still occasionally do pick up shark teeth though. I will pick those up because they just kind of lie there, and nobody makes a shark tooth into their home, and the shark teeth don't disintegrate, so it's not like they are making more sand for other things to grow. So there it is. In no time at all, I've made 2 passes across the entire set. None of them is looking plasticky. They're all nice and saturated. This one's a really big one. It's actually really big. So that's it. That's my technique. And yeah, I do use name brand. Okay, look who couldn't stand not being in the video. Jasper, what are you doing? Come on. You know you're not supposed to be on the counters. Your tail is turning the light on and off. And you've got glue on your tail too. He's a mess. Hey Jasper. As far as how long I will have these out here, I worked on them yesterday and I gave them 2 or 3 coats yesterday. I've given them 2 more good coats today. Until I see one of them start to get a little bit too shiny and looking kind of plasticky, I might add on yet another coat. I really want to go until I feel like they're just absolutely saturated with glue. That's my hope. And then it's going to take at least 24 hours for them to dry, probably 48. And I will move them from here, and they will be in a basket where they can get a lot of air. I'll probably put them back into one of these baskets from Williams-Sonoma where they have a whole lot of air and they can dry really well. And yeah, and they can get air around them. Jasper, that basket's too small for you. Thanks for checking it out. That basket's too small for you. You might fit in that one. Oh. You know you're not allowed on the counter, and that is so stinking cute. Oh my gosh. You are ridiculously cute. You are adorable. That's a super easy way to preserve some of your artifacts, some of your precious things that you have, and that's it for today. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this useful. I hope you have some items you can preserve, and this works on sand dollars as well. I've got a couple sand dollars to do. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.